When they came here and abused Christianity, they told us to close our eyes in prayer. And when we opened our eyes, the land had disappeared. That is who they are. They are not our friends.
At the end of the day, like when we talk about like really making change, talk about revolution, right?
Right.
I don't believe that we are built for what it requires for real change and real revolution to happen.
And then 2025.
So by design, we're all such
You're right.
creatures of comfort, and it makes me think like, how up does it have to get before people like, okay, we have to.
We're almost there.
No,
We're almost.
no, yeah.
But
Nobody fudges. They still keep pushing the line and
that's
don't
true.
nobody move.
Stephen A., coming to you on this, does Stefanski deserve criticism for how he's handled this quarterback competition?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
To say that he's sabotaging this young player is absolutely false.
Just as the slave master in that day used Tom, the house Negro, to keep the field Negroes in check.
Stephen A., coming to you on this, does Stefanski deserve criticism for how he's handled this quarterback competition?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
The same old slave master today has Negroes who are nothing but modern Uncle Toms, 20th century Uncle Toms, to keep you and me in check.
To say that he's sabotaging this young player is absolutely false.
Keep us under control. Keep us passive and peaceful and nonviolent. That's Tom making you nonviolent. It's like when you go to the dentist and the man is going to take your tooth. You're going to fight him when he start pulling. So they squirt some stuff in your jaw called Novocaine to make you think they're not doing anything to you. So you sit there, and because you got all that Novocaine in your jaw, you suffer peacefully. Blood running all down your jaw. And you don't know what's happening, because someone has taught you to suffer peacefully. The white man do the same thing to you in the street. When he want to put knots on your head and take advantage of you and don't have to be afraid of you fighting back, to keep you from fighting back, he get these old religious Uncle Toms to teach you and me. They're just like Novocaine, suffer peacefully. Don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. As Reverend Cleave pointed out, let your blood flow in the streets. This is a shame. And you know he's a Christian preacher. If it's a shame to him, you know what it is to me. To understand this, you have to go back to what young brother here referred to as the house Negro and the field Negro back during slavery. There was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food, what he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved their master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save their master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this?
I got to admit, I have to admit, the purple is rocking, Molly. The purple is rocking.
Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today, because we still got some house niggers running around here.
Stephen A., coming to you on this. Does Stefanski deserve criticism for how he's handled this quarterback competition?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school. You're nothing but a house Negro. And if someone come to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? Where you gonna get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say, while you left your mind in Africa.
So let me ask you this though.
Sure.
You know, I think with anything, obviously it's easier because you have a different perspective when you're on the outside of what's happening, and you can see what other people can't see. So it's easier to be able to point out things.
I can't get to the Luke Show podcast fast enough. This what's going on in Cleveland? God. Kevin, you think we all are stupid? You don't think we know football? If you're a football fan, we clearly know what you did. We clearly know that the plays that you gave for Dylan Gabriel, throwing the check down underneath.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
To make him look good. Same plays for Flacco. Then you throw Shador in the game with a tight end whose name ain't even on the roster? And some other players? And then you have them run long routes, knowing that the offensive line is not going to hold up because most of those guys will be cut on Tuesday. Damn. And not let him go back in a 2-minute drill in that situation where you know he's going to have to throw check downs, get out of bounds, drive the team down the field. You really think, Kevin Stefanski, you really think we don't know football? So everybody's stupid.
They didn't just bench Shador Sanders. They buried him. At least, that's what a growing number of NFL fans and even Skip Bayless are starting to believe. What happened in Cleveland wasn't just another preseason performance gone wrong. This felt different, more calculated, like someone wanted Shador to fail. Imagine this. You're a talented young quarterback, son of an NFL legend, coming off a promising debut. But the very next week, they throw you into a game with backup receivers, third-string blockers, and no warning. Then, just when the game's on the line, you're yanked, replaced. Without explanation. This wasn't a bad night. This was a setup. That's the narrative taking over sports talk shows and forums around the country. And Skip Bayless just put the Browns on full blast, accusing them of sabotaging their own rookie. So how did we go from Shedeur being the future of football?
So it's like he got sabotaged today. That's how it struck me, that they threw him in because they didn't want him to make any more splash and put any more heat on Stefanski. And he's coming off an oblique pull, and I don't know if it affected him today, but it's a desperate, dangerous situation in which he's got no shot, man. He's throwing to Sal freaking Cannella? What?
What they gave Shedeur to work with? Borderline criminal. No starting linemen, no reliable receivers, no chemistry, no pass protection. In just a handful of drives, Shedeur was sacked 5 times. Not because he couldn't read the field, not because he held the ball too long, but because the pocket collapsed immediately almost every single play. The line couldn't hold, the routes, predictable, receivers, blanketed. Shedeur didn't even have time to go through his reads before the Rams were already in his face. It was like watching a guy thrown into a burning building and being blamed for not escaping. And yet he stayed composed. No tantrums, no finger pointing, no visible frustration like many young quarterbacks might show in a pressure cooker moment like that. Each time he got up off the turf, wiping the turf pellets off his jersey, Shedeur walked back to the huddle with the same calm demeanor. But beneath that composure, something didn't feel right. This wasn't just a bad game. It was as if the team set up a scenario for him to look bad. And that's where things got suspicious. Because while every rookie has growing pains, not every rookie gets treated like they're being deliberately sidelined. Fans noticed. Media noticed. And Skip Bayless? He went nuclear on it. While other rookie quarterbacks around the league were being surrounded with tools to succeed first-team reps, offensive schemes tailored to their strengths, Shedeur was given third-string weapons and garbage-time play calls. And when the moment came to lead the final drive, the kind of moment every quarterback lives for, he was told to sit down. No injury, no explanation, just benched. This wasn't a game where we learned Shedeur Sanders wasn't ready. It was a game where we learned Cleveland might not want him to be. And that's when the real drama started. Because if Shedeur was expecting to win that QB2 or even QB3 role, what happened next felt more like a message than a football decision. But as soon as Skip Bayless saw it, he knew something was off. And what he said after the game? That's where everything exploded. When NFL preseason hits, most rookie quarterbacks are tested, but they're also supported. Coaches want to see what these young guys can do, so they put them in the best positions possible.
It was the one ball he did come. He was 3 out of 6, but he got sacked 5 times because he's hanging on the ball, trying to make a play, and nobody can separate. Looked like the Rams were playing some second teamers. That Engel kid is just guided missile, and it looked like they had more talent on the field than certainly Cleveland had in the offensive line and in the receiver core that was on the field with Shedeur. And he's waiting and he's looking and he's drifting, and I got it, and that's a knock on him in college. But you got to give him something to work with, because in his position as the, well, you could say the 5th string quarterback, I don't know, maybe he's the 6th string. I don't know what he is.
They craft play calls around their strengths, give them a solid offensive line, and at least a few reliable weapons to work with. But with Shedeur Sanders, none of that happened. From the very first snap, it looked like Shedeur wasn't set up to shine, he was set up to stumble. The plays weren't designed to stretch the field. The route concepts were bland. The protection was almost non-existent, and no one on the field could seem to create separation. It's like they threw together everyone from the bottom tier of the roster and just said, "Good luck, kid." But it gets worse. Kevin Stefanski, the Browns head coach, has faced criticism in the past for his conservative play calling. But in this case, fans aren't just questioning his decisions, they're questioning his motives. With 5 other quarterbacks crowding the depth chart and a job on the line, some believe Stefanski was never actually evaluating Shedeur. He was just moving pieces on a chessboard, avoiding a conversation, burying controversy. Because let's be real, Shedeur wasn't supposed to look good. He was supposed to stay quiet while veterans like Joe Flacco and Tyler Huntley held down safer, more predictable roles.
Yeah, I didn't know I was out. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I was on the bike, I was powering up. I was powering up for that 2-minute drive because, that's just a situation every quarterback dreams for. That's many situations I've been in before, and I thought I was in. So then he told me I wasn't in, and I was like, okay.
And rather than put Shedeur in a position to succeed, they allegedly fed him to the wolves so he wouldn't succeed, and wouldn't outshine Stefanski or the veteran QBs the staff already favored. Shedeur was expendable, a distraction, just good enough for preseason headlines but not useful enough to become a real threat for the starting job. And Skip saw it all with brutal clarity. They didn't want Shedeur putting any more pressure on Stefanski, so they threw him out there, no weapons, no line, no chance. You can't succeed when you're set up like that. It was a message. You don't belong here. He even questioned the Browns' quarterback hierarchy. What is he, 5th string? 6th? They don't even know. Why keep him at all if you're just gonna bury him? Skip's rant went deeper than football. He started questioning the entire regime, from the coach to the general manager to the front office. He demanded the Browns give Shedeur a shot elsewhere, anywhere, just not Cleveland. Because according to Skip and a growing army of fans, what happened wasn't just unfair, it was character assassination in cleats. And his final words? Straight up chilling. The only way to save his career is to get him out of Cleveland. Period. By the time the clip aired online, it had already racked up thousands of comments, fans furious, confused, heartbroken for a young QB who just wanted a chance. But what made this story hit even harder was that through all the noise, Shedeur responded with nothing but class. And what he said in his post-game presser? It told you everything you needed to know about the difference between talent and character.
Got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price, want a slice. Got to roll the dice, that's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. I got everything I said I was gonna get on my kid. In addition to that fact, I went legit. I'm the shit now according to the way that I'm positioned. These beers, it look like
They took Christ to the Greeks. They made him white and they made him speak Greek. When they were tired with him, they took him to Rome and they made him speak Latin. And when they are tired with it, they created a religion that they call the Roman Catholic Church. God was not a Catholic and is not a Catholic. When they were tired with him, they took him to England to allow King Henry VIII to marry, and they named the Church of England, and made the Queen and the monarch the head of that church. God is not an Anglican. And when they were tired, they took him to Scotland and they made him a Presbyterian. And when they were tired, they made God a Methodist. And when they were tired, they took him to Germany and they made him a Lutheran. And when they were tired, they went to the United States and they made him an Episcopalian. God is not all those things. The God that I worship is worshipped in truth and in spirit.
Elijah Muhammad has said something which perhaps a lot of us white people have misunderstood. Perhaps you can explain it to me. He said that white men are devils. What does he mean by that?
He means just what he said, the deeds and the works of the man. He says the American devils. The lynching, the killing, cutting the black people's private out, sticking it in the mouth. Is what they did to us. Got a book called 100 Years of Lynching written by white men. Taking black women who was 4 months pregnant, they took us for years and hung us up with the feet and stuck a dagger in the stomach and ripped it and pulled the unborn baby out just to put fear in other slaves. And this is worse than the devil.
All right, but...
see, the devil, the preacher in the church taught us that the devil was up under the ground and he'll wait till he died before he burn us up. This white devil in America was worse because he burned us while we was alive. He didn't wait till we died. What I'm trying to say, the white man should get up and say you are a lie and carry him to court. None of them will stand up and say that they are not devils and this man is lying. So what am I to do?
See, I gave the Beatles their start. In 1962, I went to Europe. I took the Beatles on this tour. They was making $50 a week a person. John Lennon would come up and make all these big bills, and I had to pay them. I had the Beatles, I had Jerry and the Pacemakers, and a group called the Swingin' Blue Jeans. I had Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. He made his first tour. Nobody never heard of these people.
Do these people send you a Christmas card?
They send me more than Christmas cards. They're my friends. You know, I really don't want anything from them. All I want them to do is to spread what they got from me. Mm-hmm. You know, God gave it to me, and they got it from me, so just carry the good word over the world. That's all. I don't want nothing. I just want them to do what's right. Like James Brown, he was my singer in my band. He was with me. Yeah. Joe Tex was my singer. Otis Reddings. Jimi Hendrix was my guitar player for 4 years. But you never hear about all of this from me. You know, everybody say, well, what did he do? I did it all, but then nobody know nothing about it.
I wish I could.
That's what happened when you're Jewish. They do you like that.